And I guess we kind of decided beforehand that before we went on, we'll be moving Peter Skoronsky to interior offensive line on our board just because of the arm length. But his workouts were great. I know you're not the biggest fan of Tyler Steen, but he had a great workout here from Alabama, the Vanderbilt transfer. But obviously, we have to start talking here about BYU Blake Freeland, almost 6'8", 302, and the 302 is a sticking point here. And we're going to talk. We'll talk about that quickly in a minute. But a 4.98 in the 40, 37-inch vertical, best ever for an offensive tackle at the combine. His shuttles were good. His broad jump 10-foot, best of any offensive tackle at the combine this year. The vertical was the best ever for an offensive tackle. But play strength. Notice he didn't bench. Strength an issue for Blake Freeland, and had an up and down Senior Bowl. So I'm reserving hype for Freeland here, but obviously he's the name to talk about after the combine.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you take him round 3 and you hope you can mold that left tackle out of him, because if you get a franchise left tackle, he has that type of athleticism. Get him with a strength coach. Let's get him stronger, and then I think you're set.
Does he remind you a little bit of the guy from Washington's Lucas from Washington State? Abraham Lucas last year, who started every game for Seattle at right tackle this year. So I think similar maybe profiles there to me, that, like you said, a third round guy that could end up starting for you because of the athleticism and make plays. But so Blake Freeland made himself some money. Jalen Duncan, also solid combine there from Maryland. All of Maryland. We could talk about Maryland all day here.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the top two, what should be the top two offensive tackles on both of our boards once we move Skoronsky off the tackle boards. Paris Johnson Jr., Ohio State, Broderick Jones, Georgia. What did you see from these guys out there?
I thought both looked really good. I mean, Broderick Jones was just his footwork. He was picking up the coach and was giving it everything. You could tell how great of an athlete he is at that left tackle position, not allowing a sack for Georgia this year. I think from a talent perspective, I think he's the top tackle in the class. We'll see what kind of shakes out off the field for him. But Paris Johnson, man, I mean, at 6'6", 3/8, like moving the way that he does just is not fair. He's just so good. His footwork's so good. And those arms are just so long. So I'm interested to see how those two shake out, because I think talent-wise, they're both top 12 guys in the class.
It amazes me the bookend tackles for Ohio State this year, both with over 36-inch arms. That's wild. So let's quickly talk about the other three potential first-round offensive tackles. I mentioned Dewan Jones briefly there. He ran the 40 like a guy who's 6'8", 374. I mean, it was fun. It was funny. I'm not going to lie. Darnell Wright from Tennessee is another guy who right tackle only probably, but potential to go in the first round. And Anton Harrison, a guy you've been a younger guy, but you've been on the bandwagon there for him for a while. So what did you see at the combine from those three?
Well, I thought Darnell Wright maybe looked the best of any offensive tackle. When we talk about the field drills, we talk about the movement skills. The issue is that Darnell Wright is probably a right tackle only. He was pretty bad at left tackle for Tennessee 2 years ago, and this year was phenomenal. So if you have that need, then I think this lines up. You feel much more comfortable than maybe you do even with a Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones. I thought Anton Harrison was solid, had some pop to him. Definitely fast and athletic. I thought the explosiveness was there. So I still feel I think Anton Harrison probably a round 2 pick ultimately. But if there's a run, you never know what can happen in the back end of the first.
Any other of these offensive tackles that you want to talk about?
I mean, I thought Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse, you talked him up at the Senior Bowl. I think he had a phenomenal,
smooth, silky smooth.
I think it puts him in the top 50, conversation, ultimately. But yeah, that was probably that's probably the only other notes I have. We talked DeJuan Jones, which is good. And I still can't believe Ohio State played Paris Johnson at guard for a year. Oh, here's the other guy, Earl Bostic Jr. from Kansas. I went back and watched this film before the combine. I was like, this guy's really good. He can, and then he had a really good combine. Can move. I'm really intrigued. I think he's a solid player.
He strikes me as that a guy you draft in early day 3 development.